Hey, what's up everybody? Jack of Many Trades back here again with another video, and today I'm going to be talking about one of the products that I use basically every day for my work, which is the 2021 16-inch MacBook Pro. So as you guys know, in 2021, Apple released the MacBook Pro 14-inch and MacBook Pro 16-inch, both with the option for the M1 Pro chip or the M1 Max chip. In my particular case, because I do a lot of material science research, which requires a very heavy computing load, and so I actually went ahead and bought the fully kitted out version. So as you can see here, it has an M1 Max chip with the 10-core CPU, 32-core GPU, and the 16-core neural engine. As well, I got 64 gigabytes of unified memory, 1 terabyte SSD, the 16-inch Liquid Retina XDR display, which is basically the same one that they bought to the iPad Pro 12.9-inch. It's a mini LED display capable of outputting up to 1,600 nits of brightness for HDR content. As well, when you're consuming regular media, it gets up to 1,000 nits of brightness. It's also a 120 hertz display, so any time that you're scrolling or anything like that, things are going to look very smooth. Additionally, it has a hardware accelerated H.264 HEVC ProRes and ProRes RAW video decode engine and encode engine, so whenever you're doing exports of those formats, it's going to be blazing fast. The other thing to note is that this has really good battery life. On average, I'll get through an entire day with about 40 to 50% remaining. If I'm doing really intense work though, the battery can drain a little bit faster, but I've never killed it in a day. So this right here is my 16-inch MacBook Pro. As you can see, I have a case on it. This is the UAG Lucent case. This is a military drop tested and approved case, so you can feel comfortable carrying this thing around with you anywhere that you go. I know that this is a huge investment at $3,500 before tax, so you definitely want to protect your investment, and this is the case that I recommend you do that with. Additionally, I have a dbrand skin on this, so that's why mine looks quite a bit different than any of the images that you guys may have seen online. It's just a skin. Another thing that's absolutely fantastic about the 2021 16-inch MacBook Pros is the fact that they actually gave us speakers that were better than the previous generations of 16-inch MacBook Pro and 15-inch, which is what I actually came from 2016. I was blown away by those speakers, and these completely blow those out of the water. The bass is incredible, trebles very clear, mids very clear, nothing ever distorts even at 100% volume. I'll play a couple of clips here so that way you can see exactly what it is that I'm talking about. But, you know, as you can hear, the audio is absolutely incredible. Everything is very clear. So if you are in a place where you can use the speakers, it's not going to be a compromise. You know, if you are traditionally used to using headphones or other things like that to do mixes, definitely still keep using headphones or using external monitors. But if you're somewhere away from home and you don't have your traditional setup, these speakers will definitely hold you over if you're doing any type of music work, video work, whatever. The other thing is that these have pretty decent microphones as well. I don't really use the microphones, but just so that way you can hear kind of what it sounds like, I will throw up a very quick test right here for you guys to listen to. All right, so here is what the microphones built into the 16-inch MacBook Pro sound like. What do you think? I've been using the DJI mic for the entirety of this video, so this is what it sounds like using what's built into the MacBook Pro. One thing that I really had a lot of reservations about was switching over to the Apple Silicon from Intel, because everything that we had known up until Apple came out with Apple Silicon was Intel. And so Intel is built on the x86 architecture, so all of the apps that I used were built for x86. They weren't built for Apple Silicon. And especially for me, I use Parallels a lot in my work because I need access to certain Windows applications for my materials science research. And those applications are not even built on Mac. So for me in particular, I had a lot of reservations about actually even buying this computer because I didn't know if it would work for what I need it to do. But I'm very happy to report to you guys that I've had absolutely no trouble whatsoever getting any of my apps that I needed to work working. And in fact, they don't really require any workarounds. If you guys have a Steam Deck or anything like that, you know that sometimes to get Windows applications working on it, you need to do a lot of command line stuff or other sorts of tinkering to get things to actually work and play correctly. With the MacBook Pro, everything just happens automatically. It's honestly kind of magical, which is great, because then you don't spend so much time tinkering around trying to get things to work. You can just get straight into your work right away without any issues. A lot of the things that I do also revolve around coding, so I create a lot of applications using Python, and I test them out using a Jupyter Notebook. And so that was kind of another thing that made me a little bit hesitant about switching to Apple Silicon. I didn't know how these types of applications would perform on the new variety of chips that Apple ships. But again, I'm very happy to report that the Python performance on MacBook Pro 16-inch with the M1 Max is outstanding. There's certainly never been any task that I've thrown at this computer that it's struggled with. I edit all of my videos on here. I do music production. I do coding, other things like that. I work with Microsoft Office, so Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, Excel. Like I said, I use Parallels to work with a lot of scientific applications like Topaz 6. And honestly, everything that I've used has worked perfectly straight out of the box with no real workarounds or anything like that having to be implemented. So in my personal opinion, if you were on the fence about getting a MacBook Pro 16-inch for yourself or for somebody that you know, I think it's a very great value proposition. There's really been nothing in my experience that has made me regret buying it, even a year later. The thing is so fast. A really good thing to note is that with the MacBook Pro that I got, it has 32 gigabytes of unified memory. So the nice thing about unified memory versus traditional RAM is that unified memory works across the CPU as well as the GPU. So if you are doing a very GPU intensive process like Final Cut Pro editing or anything of that nature, the computer can actually fully leverage all of that RAM for the GPU, which is not something that can be said about traditional dedicated GPU units. So additionally, the M1 Max has 2 video encode engines. As well, it also has hardware accelerated H.264 HEVC ProRes and ProRes RAW media engines, which really help out a lot with video editing. So when I'm doing my edits, I've never run into any slowdowns at all. Even with multiple timelines of 4K 60 FPS video or 4K 24 FPS video, nothing has really hindered my computer at all. And I can be doing that and about 15 other apps in the background with no slowdowns whatsoever. Typically, I have 8-10 instances of applications open at one time while I'm working, and my memory, I'll have maybe 20-ish gigabytes left at any time. Sometimes I'll get as low as like 8 or 10 gigabytes free, but even with that high of a load on this computer, I've never had any issues, even running parallels alongside coding applications, alongside Microsoft Office. There's never been anything that I've thrown at this computer that it couldn't handle. So, like I said, if you guys were thinking that the $3,500 price tag for the M1 Max 16-inch MacBook Pro was a lot, and maybe it was unjustified, I'm here to tell you I spent all of that money on this computer and it is well worth it. So if you guys are on the fence, definitely consider purchasing the 16-inch MacBook Pro. You will not be disappointed. But anyway, with that, I will leave links to all of the products that I mentioned down in the description below, and feel free to put any comments that you guys have in the comment section below. Feel free to drop me a like and a sub, and I will see you guys in the next video.